webinar. Now I'm here to chat with you about Maryland and about cybersecurity within the state of Maryland. And one of the things I want to impress upon you is that with Maryland, we really do consider the mission to be our top priority, because it's not about just going out and listening to the sales pitches and talking about, all these great products. And it is important, but I think it's really, why are we doing this? What is the purpose of this is to defend. The purpose of this really is to make sure that we're protecting our data and we're protecting our citizens, right? So we implement a number of scenarios, a number of products, a number of tools, a number of resources, and that's just throughout everything. So a lot of times, though, as I work with different countries that want to come over, so I've got that aspect as well. And so like Monday, I'm going to the Czech embassy and I'll be working with the Czechs, and people are like, oh, well, you're getting all these foreign, entities in here and whatnot. Yeah, I am. But one of the entities I don't typically work with is somewhere over there that, maybe they don't have the best relationship with us, and I don't know who they are. They have this different language, it's like Mandarin or something, I don't know. So we tend to stay away from those, but we do focus on a lot of the Five Eyes. We focus on working with different entities within the state as well, and outside just in the global region. So in my particular role, I look at it at making connections and development with the government agencies, and all of you are probably very familiar with the government agencies, and that includes obviously the military as well. So we always bring people into our state, and they always want to do business with the military. They always want to do business with the government, and I have to politely explain to them that that is an issue of trust, and that they need to almost earn the right to work with our government. And I know that might sound a little crazy. I don't exactly say it in those words, but I want them to understand that if you're coming from another country, you just can't come over. We're going to give you a tour of NSA and give you all of our keys. Would you like all our private keys? Here's the server to it. No, we don't do that. So, so when we do deal with this relationship with these global entities that come in, they're always saying to me, well, why should I come to Maryland? Why do I want to plant a flag here? And I'm like, well, besides the fact that the mission is extremely important to us and we take cybersecurity very seriously in Maryland, we're considered one of the cyber epicenters. By the way, we're also called capital of quantum, but hey, we won't go there. That's a whole other thing. I can talk about that another time. Yes, and I know I heard the thing earlier about quantum, the short bus, and AI, and I'm like, ooh, okay. I could really get into that, but I didn't want to start an argument at that point. We'll be really good today. Yeah, it was. I was like, let's talk about that. So what do I say to people when they want to be here in Maryland? Well, why are we here? What's so important about cyber in Maryland? I said, you know what we have? They always want capital. They're like, where's the money? Everybody wants money, 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 money. I don't care if you're in the government, if you're in education, or you're in commercial, right? We've got the money here. We've got capital, we've got VCs, we've got funds, we've got all kinds of great stuff. So that's the one thing I always promote. The other thing I always promote with is the connections. And that is so important here. We have connections with, as I said, we are geographically located right next to DC, right next to Northern Virginia, even though, I try to promote Maryland, but we are the DMV. So, I don't look down on anybody in Virginia. Actually, we have some really good people over there, and I'm actually very proud to work with them as well. And then we also have, with the connections, we have the connections with all of our commercial clients. And so I work with all of our agencies and all of our organizations across the state. A lot of promotion. As you can see, I go places and talk to people all the time. Hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. I always try to bring the business to Maryland. Now, we did a global gateway program. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that. Anybody familiar with that? No. What is this global gateway program?
What is this global gateway program?
What is it? Thank you, JC. Thank you for asking. I know you're all tired. Trust me. I've been teaching for 20 some years. Okay, I get it. It's the glazed donut look. And I have called ambassadors with glazed donut looks, so don't feel bad, okay? I'm just like, whatever. But at this point, last year in the summer, Governor Hogan went to Davos and he announced that we're going to do the Global Gateway Program, which is basically going to be a program that we promote international companies to come into Maryland, and we'll be the global gateway, the entry point for them to enter into the U.S. market. And that sounds great, doesn't it? And you're like, oh, okay. But then in the same token, we get to also go in that direction, and we're promoting cybersecurity for Maryland and all of our industries also in these other countries. Mind you, these are countries that we're friendly with. Okay, we're not exactly shifting people over to certain countries with certain crazy people. So that's the case. So that's what we get to do. Now, here's the funny thing. He decided that the Department of Commerce was going to be where that program was going to reside. Ask us when we found that out.
After the speech? On his last day.
During the speech, we all went, excuse me? So, so we have been putting this together, putting requirements on it, and gathering different entities and stuff to work together to make this a reality. And honestly, we have Dreamport is one of our landing sites. We have BW Tech. We have a variety of different incubators and accelerators and all to promote this in the state. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. Yeah, you can ask questions. Go ahead. Oh, well, I will be nice and tell you.
I've just seen it everywhere.
I love it. He's like, that's Dreamport. And it was really nice that you said, I'm from Virginia. You could have lied and said you were from Maryland. I would have been much nicer to you. No, I'm teasing you. Totally teasing, man.
Well, at least you didn't say, I got to talk slow now.
Yeah, I know.
She didn't say that.
See, I'm the nice one. See, imagine why we're friends. So Dreamport is this awesome tech hub that actually they have a relationship with the U.S. Cyber Command as well. And so that is a place where you can go. And I know that they have resources and opportunities, I don't call them maker labs, but space for a lot of technology projects to occur, for things to be vetted for the military, et cetera, et cetera. They have just opened up incubator space. And I don't know, how many people are familiar with incubator versus like accelerator? Anybody familiar with that? See, I'm talking about BD stuff and all. So incubator basically is a home for somebody. They have never worked, like, they're like, oh, we got this great idea in technology, and now we want to take it off the shelf and we want to do something with it. They don't know how to commercialize it. How many of you are geeks? Really? I'm a geek. I love being a geek. It's wonderful. I love DEF CON. I got to speak at DEF CON last year. It was the greatest experience ever. If you never get to go do it, it's so much fun. And then we won't talk about what happened afterwards, but it was great. I had a good time. Really good time.
Did you make your drink first time on stage?
I was waiting for the goon squad. I wanted my drink. I was like, where's my shot? And I was like,
first time speakers, they give you a shot that you got to drink up on stage. And if they don't give it to you the first time, you got to replicate that the rest of the year every time you speak. Oh, sorry.
Bring it on. It has to be good whiskey, though. I like a Macallan 25. That would be good. Thank you.
We have, what is it, the Barnstormer? The bourbon. Bourbon.
The bourbon.
We have a Tobacco Barn Distillery.
Oh, there you go. See? Don't give me my shot, Jason.
Admiral Sanders, come on.
Sorry. We digress. There we go. So I know this is the end of the day, and you're like, oh my gosh. Okay, so where was that? Now I'm thinking about
Dreamport. Dreamport.
Thank you. Sorry, Dreamport. So Dreamport is a fantastic place to go and visit, and I like going there because I like playing with all the toys. So I mean, you can go there. They've got, in fact, they were here, and you got to see the rotating, roaming pieces. That's all the equipment is all over the boards that they've got set up. So they're there to provide some educational aspects for students. They're also there for projects and whatnot. So they want to learn about things you can. So you go there, they've got like an entire home automation, anything that could be home automation set up, and how do you hack that and how do you get in? And so it's a lot of like I said, educational training type stuff, and they work very closely with the military. So
we host an event there. When you got the information for HammerCon last night, we were all invited to go there. They had a reception there, all you can eat, all you can drink, and it's really a fun place. But for business,
it's great.
You want to get into the government. Mm-hmm. You want the government to see your wares. You go talk to them, and you talk that business case with them. It's like, okay, let's see what we can do. And they're because you can't talk to the government just because you want to talk to them. That's a trust issue.
Trust issue, nope.
They're in the middle, that they're designed to do, and they're funded by the government. They're funded by private sector. They're funded by different things. But the idea is that it's the DMZ where we can all go there and all talk on the same level playing field. And you might be able to have an opportunity that can take off from there. I take my customers there.
Yes.
To get them exposure to what the possibilities are.
And it is amazing. Like, they have a huge submarine. They built it. You see the boat, and like they sink it, and they can show you how to sink it because they can show you how to literally attack the control systems, and then you visually see the boat sinking. And I think in cybersecurity, that is so imperative for people to actually connect it with. There's this content, there's this cyber. I mean, it's not a when, it's an if, blah blah blah. They're not going to relate it to reality until they see it, okay? Like, they see the ship sinking, they see, the nuclear reactor blowing up. Hopefully that's not the case, but you get my point. They need to see
the little people drowning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. They're like, oh, maybe that's reality. Yeah.
You got to protect the dams. Yeah.
There you go. So, exactly. So you get what I'm saying. It's really important. So it's kind of cool we get to see that at Dreamport. And so so I talk about the 3 C's. So I talk about the capital. I talk about the connections, and then the last one really is like the culture within Maryland. And I know I'm preaching Maryland. I'm sorry, Mr. Virginia. I do apologize, but man, I got to represent you. Okay, this is my jam. So with Maryland, we do have a really great culture. I feel like we do. I'm seeing it. I'm looking at it every day, and I'm the one that's promoting it, not only across our nation, but across the world as well. And I think we have a very strong community. We have a strong military and federal community. We also have a very strong community in terms of commercial. There are a lot of the tech that maybe even spins out of NSA or some of those other agencies, and they come there, they want to start up, and we've got disruptive technology going on, and it's just interesting. But the cool thing is you've got all these places in these counties, these incubators, but then we all come together and we talk together. So what's going on? How does this work? And personally, I make a lot of connections with people. I'm like, oh, you need capital here. These people focus on this. Oh, hey, you're doing this. These people want to partner with this. And it's a lot of very close-knit community in terms of cybersecurity, in terms of technology. And like I said, I could preach the quantum, but I won't preach that. That's my UMCP people down there. But I'm also pushing that agenda forward as well and saying, hey, we've got this. Because, cybersecurity is great, but it's like peanut butter. It goes across all sectors, just as Chris Cleary said. So that's where I was getting that quote. But I told him I was going to steal that. So that's what it is. It's across all the sectors. So now, not only do I get to go out globally and talk about Maryland, talk about cybersecurity, but I'm also talking about in these various sectors, in manufacturing and healthcare and finance, in everything going on, life sciences. What are we going to do? How are we going to implement it? And how's it going to look? And so a lot of my job is the promotion, is the development, and hoping that success carries through.